When we think of a life of our dreams, it's not just about what we want or wish for, but how we feel, act, and align with our deeper desires and values. Living a life of our dreams requires self awareness, purpose, and the courage to step in who we truly are. It's about integration, connecting our external circumstances with our internal truth. Welcome. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Hi. Hello and welcome. My goodness, so many comments saying hello and hi, everyone. We have here Claire tonight, Susan with us, live. Richard saying hello. Hello, lovely. So lovely to have you all here. Please grab your journals because tonight there'll be a lot of writing. So, journals and the pen, please. You don't have to do everything during this session. You can do it afterwards, but there will be a lot of questions because, as we promised last week, next few sessions will be more focused on coaching rather than us talking and sharing our own experience. However, that's the case as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So,
part
one
of the
more
deal.
time, hello and welcome, all beautiful people. And Anna says hello as well. So gorgeous to have you here, all of you guys.
Yes, Richard, school is back.
Yes, school is back. But guys, this is for your own good because we're talking and we're continuing the topic of living the life of our dreams.
Right.
And I apologize, I have some delays within comments and everything, but Mercury is in retrograde. There is a lot of shifts within the planetary movements right now, so nothing will
Absolutely.
surprise me.
That's it. That's it.
Yes, so
So,
last week we were talking and we started a series of how and what does it mean to live the life of your dreams. I hope you had some time to think about it and to imagine the life of your dreams. If not, I will ask you to close your eyes now for a minute or two and just think about your biggest dream and what comes up. I'll give you a moment. Imagine your dream life. What is that you're doing? How you're feeling, who you surround yourself with, what are you doing, how your day looks like. And I want you to pay attention to your reaction within the body. Do you feel excitement? Do you feel doubt, anxiety, resistance? Or maybe you just can't wait to jump into that future. What comes up for you? And that's going to be a significant indicator of where you are manifesting the life of your dreams. Write down, guys, what came up for you. This is really important. You can also share within the comments also what comes up for you. And Jan, what your dream life would look like.
yeah, well, I come to a season of my life that most of the boxes have already been checked. But fortunately, I'm a Gemini, so when things start stalling, when things get repetitive, when things look the same, that's that's when my mind kicks in, and all kinds of new things come up. And we have a few days of a few blessed days of summer here. So when I closed my eyes, I saw the summer ahead of me. So it's not there won't be big changes, but of course I travel through the country the whole year round, and I see myself extending these weekends. So maybe take the tent with me, uh, go somewhere on Friday or Thursday, and then just work on Sunday and go back late after, but just extended the journey a bit, not staying put where you are, but a bit of extra travel. And I'm manifesting it already. I have two foreign journeys ahead of me the coming months. So yeah, it's starting a bit. I haven't been off the island for nearly 2 years here. So yeah, and I wasn't even born here. So it's been a long time since I
Mm.
left Ireland. And next Tuesday is the first day. We're going to London for a tarot exhibition, and yeah, with a good friend, and that's already brilliant. And in May we're going to Amsterdam for a concert, visiting another friend, staying with her a few days, and yeah. So it's the summer is already, I see the summer with friends and people around me and having fun, and yeah, that,
Wonderful. And I thank you for sharing this because often when we start to think about our dream or the life of our dreams, we think of those big things which seem not achievable. But life of our dream can be as simple as going and traveling a little bit more.
yeah, yeah,
Wonderful. Today, we will do our session slightly different because normally we pull our cards towards the very end of the session, but today we will start from cards because cards will help us to answer few main questions. So as
yeah,
a first card, and the way we're going to do it is Jan will pull a card and I will pull a card because sometimes the messages may be different. I feel different energies today around
yeah,
you. So I think pulling two individual cards will be great.
yeah, yeah.
So let's go back to our last week's episodes and let's pull a card answering the question about your dream life.
So the
What does your
question,
dream life look like? And this card will give us an insight into the essence of a true desire. So I have one card already.
I'm picking one too.
You can pick a reader. The more you resonate with one of each of us, or maybe you will feel like the two cards are for you, or maybe you can take it as a whole message. It's totally and completely up to you guys. If you have your own tarot deck or even oracle deck, feel free to use it and pull the cards with us. So, life of your dream. What card comes up for you, Jan?
I picked the Four of Cups, the Four of Vessels from the Alchemical Tarot. An interesting card, not necessarily the exact same message you get in the regular tarot decks, because this is more of a balancing act, as you can see, and it's fragile. So there is the 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 thing you create is a fragile balancing uh, balancing the joy with the other things in life, like work and responsibilities, and
Mm,
not breaking stuff. um, so in general, the card talks about having the luxury to say yes and no to certain circumstances, to choose and to pick and choose, and here we pick and choose a balancing act.
mm.
Mm.
As a helping question within reading and interpreting your cards, or question to ask ourselves if you haven't done so yet, if you could design your ideal life, how and what it would look like. So here we have a life which contains different aspects which are balanced. Beautiful message.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Think about what you would be doing for work. How would you be spending your time? So just by looking at your
right,
cards, Jan, what could you tell
yeah.
about that?
Yeah, this card says that the focus on, for instance, the focus on extreme growth, like working hard or thinking of your career and stuff like this, is no longer a priority. It's way more about a situation where we are secure, but we don't have to be complacent. And so there's a bit of freedom there. There's a freedom of choice. There's a freedom of accepting and rejecting, and there's no necessity to extremely, especially when it comes to working hard. no, there's more freedom there. There's space for exploration. That's what I love in this card. And the elephant is definitely exploring the possibilities, putting its full weight on the bottles. They're glass jars and they're breakable. So there's true balancing act with breakable things, but you sometimes you have to break things to grow, to
Yeah.
make it happen. Yeah.
I'm smiling because I am using today the Gilded Tarot.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful tarot deck. I'll show you the back of the cards. And I'm so intrigued by your card because mine talks about something similar. I pulled Seven of Cups,
Oh,
choices. So
yes.
life full of choices, life full of options. There is a glare on the card because unfortunately
Yeah,
there
yeah, it's quite good now.
yes. So life full of choices, life full of options, opportunities to have a free choice of am I will be doing this or that. Because often we have no choice because we are forced to do things. And it's amazing how that balance came within your card and the opportunity and the option for choices comes out here. So that's the life of of our dreams
Yeah,
collectively. We would all want to have more possibilities, more options to choose from, more things we could wonder, more dreams, because Seven of Cups can also talk about dreams, the
yeah,
almost to the point of illusion sometimes. But
yeah,
life
yeah,
without dreams, what would be life without dreams,
yeah.
isn't it? And having
Yeah, what?
those dreams and moving them from the realm of this dream will never come true, or it's very unlikely for it to happen because it's so complex, for example. But no, it's to be able to dream freely, to imagine freely, to create freely, to envision freely.
Yeah,
And think
and
about, guys, of what is that for you, what that means for you, that option, that choices, that life, that balanced life, those elements co-creating your life. And write it down, and you can journal about it later. I would suggest automatic writing, not the writing from the head, but rather when the subconscious takes over and your hand is only following what comes up rather than actively creating from a peace of mind. And I see Jan wants to add something.
yeah, yeah, yeah. For me, the Seven of Cups is definitely also about temptation. When I think of the Seven of Cups and for instance my summer, part of my summer is party time. I go to Inisheer, one of the Aran Islands, and um, we're in the pub the whole night. So we have the choices of being together, having a drink, uh, having the things you usually maybe not do as much, giving in to the temptations of party and fun. And that's definitely a Seven of Cups moment where you just let go for a while, let go of your limitations and belief, and just go with the flow and enjoy life to the fullest. Although sometimes it might result in in a headache the next morning, or a hangover, but we had fun.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I see from this card here.
Yeah,
It's the options, the possibilities. And I have here a house, which is a castle here, a
yeah,
love here, a partnership, some good connection with the spirits here. There is a dragon here. Usually it's a snake, but here it's a dragon. So the
yeah.
hangover as well. All right, let's move to the next set of questions and the next cards, where
Okay.
we ask ourselves about our core values. What values are non-negotiable for you in your life and in your career? This is an important question to ask yourself, and
Yeah.
how those values show up in your day-to-day life, or today, or want. That's something I would like you to think about as well. So, what are the core values that would make your dream life fulfilling and aligned? Let's see. Ooh.
I found one. Let me see which one this is. Yeah. So, what values are non-negotiable for you in your life and career? I pulled the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups, completion of the emotional cycle. Um, so, non-negotiable is reaching the pinnacle, reaching the top, sitting under the rainbow with your loved ones, sitting under the rainbow, and loved ones in the broadest spectrum. You know, I have a few generations. I'm the oldest. I have no parents, but I have children and grandchildren. Boom, they're there in the Ten of Cups. They're with me when I have fun, and so them in my life are non-negotiable. Friendship, my wife, my bestie Luna, non-negotiable. they, you're part of of the core values of my life. You know what I mean?
Thank
You belong there.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and
friendships,
Suzanne is
friendship.
pulling her cards with us today, and she pulled Nine of Cups. I think it was with the first
Susan,
question,
yeah,
or maybe
yeah.
second. I'm not sure about that. Perhaps, Suzanne, you could specify that. So we could give our interpretation, guys, because we love to do that as well.
Yeah, nine
And
of cups.
I,
Very close to the Ten of Cups, of course. So it's
mm,
most likely the second question. But well, and it's a lovely card too. It's all about happiness, your own fulfillment, non-negotiable. Yeah, love it, Susan.
and I here have Page of Pentacles, a really
Ooh,
interesting card. I don't want to come too close to the microphone here.
yeah,
A
very
really
good. Yeah,
interesting card to talk about values, because to me, Page of Pentacles represent practicality. Well, first of all, it's always personal growth, because it's a pentacle. To me, pentacles mean obviously material stuff like the body, health, or resources, money, time, and stuff. But the Page of Pentacles to me represents more of a personal growth, because it's a long-term process, curiosity and open-mindedness, but also practicality, and being realistic and being patient about stuff, because pages are usually a younger, more impatient energy. But because it comes with a pentacle, it's that having that faith and belief that good things are worth waiting for. Because sometimes when we manifest life of our dreams, we want it to be like we would go to McDonald's. We order it and it's done. And yes, it is possible. I'm not saying that it's not. But sometimes in life, especially when it comes to material things, we have to wait a little bit. So that's what I'm taking from this card, is to be patient with ourselves while we're going through the process of
yeah,
manifesting and creating the life of our dreams.
yeah. And what I see in the page, or the princess or the lady of pentacles, also what you see a lot is the promise of something, you know. And in the Thoth deck, for instance, the page of pentacles is pregnant. Oh, that's
Mm,
waiting. That's waiting for you, you know. That's so there is this importance of growth, of sharing, of sharing your wealth with others. So there's that's part of this young energy as well, growth and
yeah.
sharing. Yeah, love it.
Yeah. But this is pure potential,
Yeah.
pure potential.
Mhm.
So just to translate it into values, is
Yeah,
that use what God has given you. Use your own potential, because we all have our special gifts. We all have that gift from God, which we are made to be used. And this will help us to create the life of our dreams. And before we move further, there are a few interesting comments here. So I would like to come back for those, because our beautiful viewers who are live with us tonight share their
yeah.
cards. So Suzanne, pulled as a first card Nine of Cups, which is the life of the dreams, is to being fulfilled, but also independent, fulfilled within herself rather than grabbing fulfillment from the outside sources. And David, hello, David. So lovely to have you tonight, says, I'm currently experiencing the 10 of Cups on many levels that really resonated. Oh, 10 of
That's good.
Cups is one of my favorite cards from
When
many.
you have that one, David, you're spot on. You're on
Spot
track.
on. Well done. Well done. And Claire says, Prince of Wands for my core values. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, the Prince of Wands. So there's the where you in the Prince of Wands you see the intelligence, but the breakthrough. So the values of breaking out. So there is growth there, and it's explosive. Um, yeah, of course. I know, Claire, that you're talking about the thought. That's the comment now. So that's yeah, the breakthrough, explosivity, generosity, fire, Leo energy. So also again about the core value of sharing. Um, what I like about the princes in the Thoth deck that they're somewhere between the knights and the kings. So there's the balance that they have, but they're because of their youthfulness, they're explosive. So it's an explosive, fiery passion and purpose. So yeah, your value is non-negotiable. That you go for passion, for pure willpower, and that doesn't mean just do what you like, but what do what really makes your heart beat in life and career.
Which is amazing because Claire shared a week before her life of her dream, which totally resonates with that card right now. And the question I would like you to ask yourself, perhaps write it down, is in what ways you are currently honoring or neglecting those values? I think it's an important question to ask ourselves. I will write down and I will leave those questions in a description box after this session. So don't worry if you miss on any question, they will be available. The main questions I would like you to ask and answer. Moving on, let's see what lights you up. What activities, passions, or aspects of your life may make you feel alive and energized? I'm laughing because those who know me would say right now going to the beach with my doggy, but there is so
Yeah.
much more. So yes, what activities, passions, or aspects of your life make you feel alive? We'll see. Let's see what comes up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, nothing wants to come up yet. You can start, Jan. I'll
Yeah.
switch
Yeah.
on.
I have a card that's for me that's very to the point. So, what parts of your current life bring you joy and fulfillment? And we have the High Priestess, and the High Priestess. Um, you know, yeah, yeah. Okay, Luna, you're the High Priestess of the channel. You're laughing now, but
Oh, I'm
but
laughing about something else, and you'll see why in a second.
okay, okay. But for me personally, if I look at this card. Um, what I want to think is interesting. She holds the finger before the mouth, so being in silence. To me, what makes me energized is to learn, to become wiser, um, to integrate the teachings that I had in my life, and um, so what brings me joy is to share wisdom, to share understanding. um, for instance, with my tarot clients, I do what I'm supposed to do in this world. I'm a reader, I'm a life coach. I help people making sense of their lives, and that's definitely one of the aspects of this wonderful High Priestess card, which with a very lunar energy and a very watery energy, and of course the energy of Venus, of the planet of love. Yeah. So doing what you need to do. That's what brings joy to me.
And I picked the
Ba-bam.
Empress.
The next one.
Major Arcana, which is just after High Priestess. That's why I started to laugh,
Yeah.
because, well, for some of you, motherhood is the key aspect of this card here. It's being a mother or becoming a mother, nurturing the family, nurturing beloved people. It doesn't have to be children involved. It can be pets, like in my case, but also taking care of other people, those who we love. Second aspect would be obviously creativity and creating, bringing and creating from the within, either products, services, writing a book, creative expression, starting something new, starting new projects here. Abundance, prosperity, making money on what you love rather than just getting a job just to pay the bills. But also sensuality, pleasure comes through this card as well. So perhaps there is a need to have more pleasure in your life. Feminine energy, just like with high priestess, and that receptivity, being able to listen to the inner guidance of the high priestess, not to mention connection to nature as well. Many of you who watch our shows are nature lovers, are people who connect with Mother Nature a lot. So perhaps just to have that dream of your life, there is a need to be outdoorsy more often, just like Jan said at the very beginning. He plans to do it more often this year, and perhaps that's something which will give you more freedom
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well.
It's so lovely that we both pulled two neighboring cards from the Major Arcana, card number 2 and number 3. So
Yeah.
I saw you laughing. So they're the big they are very very reminiscent of life phases. So their processes every person goes through in life. The Empress time, when you take care of, when you grow your career, when you take care of everything, and then the High Priestess, which comes as a very young adult, the high spirituality that's there, and the High Priestess that comes back at the more advanced age, when you went through certain stages, and
Mm.
your wisdom and purpose and passion becomes way more important than just putting in the work, because that's one of the downsides of the Empress, is that you have to put in a lot of effort in the in the love and relationship. And the High Priestess would then, as a downside, have more struggles with this aging, with this growing wisdom and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Interesting archetypes.
Very. I think I'm gonna sneeze in a second. Bear with me.
Okay.
Um, but I am very aware that whoever is watching this, you may be on your path of living the life of your dreams. You may be
Mhm.
creating that. But some of our viewers are far away from that stage. So the question I would suggest to ask yourself and answer is, first of all, what have you always loved but feel you can't incorporate it into your everyday life or your everyday routine? Like, what is that you really love to do, but you can't find time, or you've forgotten about it? How many times we have our passions which we choose not to find time for? And another, I think, important question is to ask ourselves, when was the last time we felt totally and completely energized by something we were doing? And I
Mhm.
think that's going to be a big indicator of where we are and where the shift needs to happen.
Mhm.
Moving on to next cards. Card talking about what stops you. And before I even get into that topic, and this is where we're going to pause, and this is where we're going to talk about today, because we want to help you to identify all those things which are stopping you, limiting beliefs, which are affecting your life, and affecting the life of your dreams being a reality and being your everyday life. So, what is currently holding you back from living your dream life? It can be external circumstances, it can be, as I said, limiting beliefs or fears. And I have super interesting cards here.
Yeah. I I had four falling out, so I'll treat
Mhm.
them. Treat
I've
them.
got two.
You got two. Okay. Yeah. 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 Uh, oh Jesus. Yeah. Um, well, let's start with a very obvious one. What's stopping you in many people's lives? It is the idea that you need a lot of money to get
What's
the
the
life that you
card?
want. Five of discs, five of pentacles.
Five of Pentacles. Yeah, thank you.
Poverty, worry about money, uh, the belief that you don't have it.
Yeah, focusing on lack rather than
Poverty,
seeing
yeah,
the
yeah,
opportunities.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the King of Swords. Swords, of course, playing in the mind. So the King of Swords in reverse would then be the limiting beliefs, the belief that you're not stable enough, that you're not good enough, that you're that you're not worthy of reaching something. So, but don't let it stop you. Don't let it stop you. And
Mm.
we have sovereignty, the Queen of Staffs. So the idea that you're in control over your own life. You know, the queen of wands, that you're in control of your own life, that you can make the decision for yourself, um, that you are that you are a sovereign being, that you have control, that you can make decisions, even though um, sometimes other people like to interfere with. Queen of Wands won't won't take that shit. And I have a very interesting one because I'm working today with the Alchemical Tarot, the sixth edition, and that one has a 23rd card in the Major Arcana, and that one came out today.
Interesting.
Truth,
Truth. Oh, wow.
truth, and it's uh, so what is stopping you um, is truth. You are telling yourself to be truth, but the funny thing, we have the bringer of truth holds Maslow's pyramid. You know, the basics and the higher goals. So it's reaching for the higher goals, um, which you just should be doing. You shouldn't be afraid of getting there. Um, the pyramid, it's solid layers, and so don't tell yourself that you're not good enough. The truth is that you are good enough. The truth is that you can reach it. The only thing is that you're probably uh, the truth is that it comes from within. What's stopping you?
Mhm. Yes, and we have some comments here about how the cards resonate. Richard says here, David mentioned that as well, and I have something for you, David. I think you will like it or not like it. But the reason it works so well, guys, because we tap into the energy of collective. We tap into the energy of people who come and watch us regularly, either
Yeah.
live or rewatch it again. We created a family here, and this is our intention is always to be as specific as we can with that energy. Sometimes you will see us doing pick a pile readings as well. And I mentioned David's comment here because he said, I'm thinking about the Eight of Swords. I am not surprised to see Eight of Swords on my table. I pulled two
You
cards.
pulled it. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So it only shows me how we're in tune with each other. us as readers and you guys with the energy, and that's absolutely fantastic. And Richard says truth is the universal's question. But with this Eight of Swords, what's stopping us? What's limiting us? It's our own beliefs, our own anxiety, our own fears. And Jan mentioned fear here as well. Whatever story we create that we are not good enough, all those limiting beliefs, all those things which are not serving our good, those things which other people convinced us, things we heard when growing up, stuff like this, and things we think to keep and limit ourselves, to keep us safe in a comfort zone. Because you need to remember that getting out of the comfort zone is not comfortable because we're stepping into the unknown, and we prefer to be in a familiar situation environment which we can predict stuff, and getting out of and moving away from those sorts may be very uncomfortable
Yeah.
here, but it's just our own fears, our own imagination, our
Yeah.
own view on things. And the second card I pulled, would you like to add something before I move?
Yeah, I think the Eight of Swords is so much talking about the limiting beliefs. You know, the blindfold and some most of the time the lady in the card has their hands tied, and is blindfolded, and and you know the swords are there. They sound that it looks like a prison, but you can use the swords to free your hands and take the blindfold off and see that you can pull the swords away. So it's your own limiting beliefs. It from
Yes.
the rejection comes from within. That's the big part, the big thing in the Eight of Swords, and it's very spot on for this question. What is stopping you? It's yourself. It's your own. Yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah.
also for some of you, I have the Hierophant as well,
Ooh,
which talks about, first of all, rigid beliefs, religion, any other beliefs around either the life of the dream or what is that I should be doing, should have, and blah, 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 stuff like this. Structure as well. Fear of breaking rules, perhaps, fear of doing something differently than your friends, colleagues, family, your line, for example, your entire family is a family of doctors and you don't want to be a doctor, but you're kind of forced into it. You don't see your way out. Authority, external or internal, relying too much on mentors, signing up for another course instead of doing and taking the skills you have and doing something with them. But also, again, rigid beliefs and holding on to these beliefs,
yeah.
and resistance to change as well.
A lack of sovereignty, which I
Yes,
said here. Yeah, so it all ties in.
absolutely.
You see the cards tell a congruent, a coherent story about sovereignty and
It's
yeah,
amazing. It's amazing. And we have few comments here. Richard confirms it's always us, always. Not necessary, but most of the time, yes. Sorry, I have difficulties with my hair today. It was, I went to the ocean, to the beach today, and I still apparently have some wind in my hair because it's very unrigid. Claire says here, what is stopping me? Thank you for sharing this. Three of Cups. I'm afraid that I don't deserve happiness and abundance. Sounds strange. It sounds strange, but I feel guilty doing what I love some days. Thank you for sharing this
yeah,
because I feel many people can relate to that. It's that battle between what I love, what I want to do, and what I should be doing. It's not an easy journey to be on, and it's not an easy issue, and it's not an easy question. It's not an easy problem to be solved like that.
yeah.
But at
And
the end of the day, we need to remember that if we do something from our heart, it makes us more happy. And if we're more happy, that affects our entire world, our
Yeah.
people who we love, people who we take care of, and people who we surround ourselves with, because that's how we create our world, by creating that internal happiness. And yes, sometimes it will be really difficult and really hard to do that. But I
Yes.
believe that if there is a will, there is a way.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you just have to choose for yourself. Like Claire said, yeah, it's you don't have to feel guilty doing what you love. You don't have to accept that other people judge you. You know, don't let other people judge you. It's your life. You're supposed to live it, and that's one of the important things.
Yeah. So think about what fears or doubts are actually keeping you from pursuing what you truly want. What and how do you feel about potential risks you have to take stepping outside of that comfort zone? Um, and Claire, thank you for inspiring this. If there is a part of you which feels unworthy, undeserving of living that dream of yours, and with this hierophant, I don't know why I want to keep saying hermit. So perhaps somebody there is feeling like they have to do it on their own, that they are just lonely within pursuing that dream. I'm not sure, but perhaps there's a very specific message I'm picking on. But also, what are external or societal pressures on you, and they're influencing those decisions? I think those would be a really good questions to ask ourselves to
Mhm.
go deeper within the subject.
Yeah, yeah. What I notice a lot when you study the what drives people. Uh, there was a study, for instance, I'm a Druid, so there was a study done on people at Druidry and their lives. Then and people go into Druidry because this is their calling. This is what they want to do, and there are a significant number of people who are involved in it that keep it hidden from their colleagues, their friends, and sometimes even from the people they live with in their own
Mm,
house. And and that's limiting beliefs. You know, you when you got got to hide what's living within you, what's your true self, and yeah, that's bad. And it's bad if you have a feeling that other people are holding you back of becoming your true self. And there are
yes.
way more limiting beliefs because the first card that I pulled for holding you back is of course also the idea that you need something first before you can follow the life of your dreams. Um,
Mm,
I always say start following the dream and let the conditions to make that dream a reality follow you. Um, I talk a lot about a guy I met that was a real eye opener for me. He was 18 years, 19 years, and he was just dropped out of college without his certificate, without his diploma. And he says, "I still have two dreams in my life. First, I want to make a crap ton of money, and then I want to live in." He said America. Maybe he changed his mind now, but I said, once I have the money, I'm going to live in America. And we were with the group, and I asked, what's wrong with this thing? And a girl said, yeah, well, if he doesn't have the money, he will never go to America. But that's actually his big dream. And so he's making his big dream dependent on the amount of money. And she said maybe he should just save enough for a ticket to go there and wash dishes and make the crap ton of money over there where where do the American dream. And she was so spot on that if you always say I have to have a certain partner before I'm happy, I have to have a certain job before I'm happy, I have to work at a certain company before I'm happy, I want to have this and this car and this color before I'm happy. When you the more specific your dreams are, and the more you make them your happiness dependent on the specificity of these dreams, the specificity psychologically of these dreams, the harder it gets to reach them. So
Yeah.
make sure that going for passion, going for purpose, going for true will, do what you will, that you do that first, and
Mm.
make the conditions. And if you are really struggling with it, then just fake it till you make it. It's something I always bring a lot up for a lot of people. uh, don't don't let negativity and impossibilities be sucking you, pulling you down, and stand in the way of achieving your dreams.
Yes. Not to mention that those steps sometimes block the natural flow of life, natural flow of what's meant for us to happen and
Absolutely.
what's meant for us to be there. And guess what? I mentioned the card for a reason, because Suzanne says, yes, I have hermit vibes. And David also said, yes, that's me, Luna. So it's amazing how we can actually pick on the energy without even cards. But that's what happens
Yeah.
when you read cards long enough.
And of
Um,
course, and it's important to know that hermit vibes aren't bad either. It's the solitude and introspection can be a blessing. You're laughing now.
you know why I'm laughing. Yes.
Yes.
We had a brief conversation with Jan, and because I'm going away for a couple of days, my first response was like, I will let you know, because I feel like I will have to go into a hermit mode for a while after my trip, after
Yeah.
where I'm going, what I'm gonna
Yeah.
do. And Claire also confirms and reminds us that it is a hermit's year
It
indeed.
is there. Yeah. Yep.
The victorious joy of proving the doubters wrong. That's an interesting. I was trying to highlight this comment, but I'm struggling. Perhaps you could help me on.
Shall I do
Oh,
it?
there
Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
Oh,
I've got.
there you go.
And now we're messing
Yeah.
with them, especially when you're one of them. This is the thing, and I'm glad you added the especially when you're one of them, because I would love to get into discussion about that, but because you added the especially when you're one of them, that proves the point, and makes this sentence totally different, because I not necessarily would agree with this first one, but that's also me. We're not going to get into that today, but thank you for sharing, and I totally get where you're coming from. um, there is no better feeling that proving ourselves that yes, we were capable of doing that thing which we were so scared to do in the
Oh,
first
yes.
place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And David says, I have the hermit in my current reading as well. That's why I encourage you guys. Every time we pull cards, you take your deck and pull some extra cards for yourself
For
with a
yourself.
super
Yeah.
specific message. Because as I said, we will pick up on the energy, but sometimes the energy won't be so strong to pick on that within a group reading. Um, we will pause here the reading, and we will come back to it next week with the continuing of this session, because it's already almost an hour and we didn't
Yeah.
even get to the limiting beliefs
Yeah.
just yet.
Well, we are knee deep in our limiting beliefs right now. I think
Yeah.
we've started
um,
already. We started automatically into this wonderful topic.
but to me, I love the way it flows, because it's going to give you more time to actually think about those limiting
Yeah.
beliefs.
Yeah.
And first question I would all like to answer, and you can share the answer if you want, is what is the biggest fear holding you back from the life of your dream, from your desire, from making that thing happen? Could you share, Jan, what was your biggest fear?
Um, some I've had a few big resets in my life, and the biggest fear is always the fear of the unknown. You know, it's
Mm,
holding you back. The idea that you step wildly into an unknown energy, into an unknown world for yourself. That sometimes it is leaving things behind, leaving, for instance, a home or a family or people that you love, or leaving a career, and then what then? How do I survive? And the thing is, we are so um, we're so full of promise. We are so um, yeah. We're most of us are so intelligent and so smart that you find your way one way or the other. And of course, there is a saying, don't throw away your old shoes before you have new ones. But sometimes you just have to go wildly into the unknown, just to have the most fun, to have the challenge, find to be confronted with your true
Mm,
self, and you will find that, yeah, that there's always a reward there. And I wouldn't suggest anyone to do stupid things, or that they things they know stupid, but be a bit more daring, be a bit more uh yeah, open to, yeah.
absolutely. What is funny, I've I've never experienced fear of the unknown. I thrive on it. I love change. I love to jump deep. I don't care if things are unfamiliar. I
Mhm.
thrive on that personally. It's what excites me. And every now and then I get to a point that I'm craving change, and I change the country where I live, or at least the city where I live, the part of the country where I live, that I have to make this big change, and I have to jump into the unknown. Otherwise, it gets boring.
Yeah, but Luna,
But to
there
me,
would, sorry, there would
yeah,
still be things that would hold you back, or are
to
there
me,
none?
oh, sorry, could you
There,
repeat the
there's
question?
still things that are holding you back. So what? So if courage is
Absolutely.
not holding you back, what is it then that holds you back? Would you like to share that?
Yes, and that's where I was going with this. To me, was two things based on my experience: fear of being judged, because when I was waking up, I was judged by my closest environment. I was completely rejected, not understood. And then the more I was becoming me, the more difficulties I had with being understood by other people, because all of a sudden I changed totally and they weren't happy with those changes. So, judgment, but also fear of not being good enough, not being worthy of success, of making that dream happen, of creating that dream. This was also a big thing for me, and it's a constant work. Don't get me wrong, guys. It's not the end. This is a journey, because those are two really deep things within me which touch my core. So I've dedicated years of work and right now, one of the things I specialize myself within the coaching is overcoming limiting beliefs, but also working with women and men to help them to see their own worth, to see their own value. Because I've been there, I know how difficult it is, and I know what works. At least it worked for me. But as Richard said here, it usually starts within us, and it's usually where it ends here as well.
Yeah.
Claire says
Yeah.
here, um,
Yeah. Turning what I love into a business. Will I freeze up and forget everything I know? This is my unknown. I'll let you know in a couple of weeks how it goes. So you're taking the steps, Claire,
yes,
and turning what you love to do into a business, or making, sustain yourself with what you love to do, is one of the highest goals in life. Uh, it's yeah, and then I was during my life, I've always been quite good at that.
mm,
Uh,
that's
there's a good advice there. If you don't know what you really love, um, look into things that you would do when you have plenty of time and everything at hand. For instance, when in the early 90s the internet started, I was really absorbed by it. And within a year, I started my own internet business. I was with probably the first 10 in the country that I lived, that started making a living of it. And that was because I was drawn to it. And I spent all my weekends doing it. I think, yeah, well, if I spend all my time doing it, this is what I like to do. Let's let's see if I can make something out of it. And a few years later, I had 200 people working for me
Mm, wonderful.
with nothing.
And yes, we're not saying here leave everything you have, you own your job and everything, use and then magically everything will fall into place.
No,
That's not what we are saying.
no.
Sometimes the period of doing two things spontaneously and both of them is required in order for the business to pick up, because business, when we're talking about the dream job, for example, there is a time requirement there, obviously. So don't do stupid things, as Jan said
Yeah.
before.
The
However,
same was actually that's so true. You might not you probably don't even know that, but the first year I did that my internet business as a side hustle, and in 6 months I started asking my employer at the time, can I have 2 days off a week? Why? I'm thinking of starting up my own business. He says you get 6 months to prove it, and in 6 months I want to know, are you coming back fully, or are you going to dedicate yourself to the business? And 6 months later I was ready to rock and roll, so it took me a year to go from full-time employee to full-time employer or full-time
yes.
businessman. And so yeah, take a transition period, very good advice. And
Mm.
I know, for instance, that it works. Yeah.
And I know this because I've done it the other way around. I just one day woke up and say, work will never, ever, ever again dictate my life, period. I quit my job, I left, that's it. And then I found myself, okay, what's next? But that gave me the opportunity to actually discover what is that I truly want. It was my journey. It was fun at the time, not always though. Was involved a lot of that as well, a lot of eight of swords. So if you ask me for an advice, use your head, not just the passion and the heart.
Yeah.
Because we need to remember that, yes, following the heart is really important, following the intuition is really important. But at the end of the day, we live in a society, we live in a 3D reality where there are some rules we should follow, at least at
Yeah.
the early stages, just to make sure that we don't add up to the stress of all the new changes which will happen the moment you dedicate that, okay, this is what I want to do. So if you don't feel safe enough, just like Jan, start it as a side hustle, and I can guarantee that people will see the value in what you do because you pour your heart into it. Because it's very simple. When we do what we love, we're getting at least good at it, if not excellent.
Absolutely.
Yes. So now I ask you about the biggest fear holding you back. I hope you managed to identify your fears. If not, assign some more time to do that.
Yeah.
But the next question I would like to ask you is, if that fear had a voice, what would it say?
Ooh.
And I think we're going to leave you with this question tonight because, believe it or not, I certainly cannot believe that it's already almost 9 o'clock
An hour. Yeah. Yeah.
and it's time to departure, which I'm pretty sad actually because I was just getting started.
But we have a good opener for next week. I hope
Yeah.
you'll all be back with the answer. How does the fear sound? What voice does it have? What voice do you have in there? Um, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to share next week what my fear is, what my fear sounds like. You share yours, Luna, and I
Yes.
hope our lovely viewers live and in the comments will share theirs as well.
Think about fear is one thing, but also those limiting beliefs. Try to identify, be very mindful of what you think about, what you say, especially in the moments where you have that, like Claire says here. Claire, what's stopping you? Because we may have those moments when you pay attention to those things, it will come up. So make sure to identify the limiting belief which is causing you the most stress, fear, because next week I will take you through a process which will completely shatter those limiting beliefs away. And I will only say this because what it's going to be, it's going to be a surprise, but it's worth it. It's
Yeah.
worth it.
Looking
Claire
forward.
says, thank you. Wishing you all wonderful week ahead and take care.
Take care,
Um,
all.
Thank you so much for being here tonight with us live. And if you're rewatching it, please say hi in the comments. We love to see who's watching and where this content is going through. And much love to you all. Thank you for being here with us. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do it now so you wouldn't miss next session next week, next Wednesday, 8 o'clock p.m. Bring your limiting beliefs so we could destroy them.
Okay. Bye, all. See you then.
Bye.